Do you want to do a countdown?
In 5, 4, 3, 2. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Bro Create Podcast. I'm Tate.
And I'm Brock.
And today we're going to be delving into our creative processes this week because we both had some relatively big projects.
Mm-hmm.
And we're also just going to be going into being addicted to the job and work in general with YouTube. So, Brock, why don't you start us off with something you mentioned last week about your audio?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much the issues I was having was it wasn't consistent. So, like, I would press record on a clip here, and it would sound terrible, and then I'd press it again, it would sound great. And so, pretty much I was catering to every clip, and that can be really frustrating. I was spending too much time and on post-editing trying to fix some of the noises, the vibrations, or whatever I was running into. So I got some anti-vibration clips to help with that. I'm trying to pay more attention to my sound settings so that they're uniform every single time. Whenever I do start my day off playing games, I'm checking my recorder, making sure that it's on the correct microphone, things like that. Just little things that I think are making a difference. And so far, I think that last week's video, even if I wasn't as completely happy with it as I have been with other videos as far as transitions went, I feel like I wasn't being mindful of my transitions when I was playing the game last week. Okay. Because I was very frustrated. The game that I play, Rainbow Six, it's becoming a very frustrating game for me. And I find myself like not losing interest into it, but just getting so into what's wrong or how to play the game or how to just survive because I'm dying in just the craziest, most annoying ways. Mm-hmm. I'm not paying attention to how to get clips in the way that helps me as a creator, kind of thing. I think it turned out fine, but I was really proud of the audio quality. Like, I feel like it was uniform all the way across. The music wasn't too loud. When I started talking, it was around relatively the same sound frequency. It wasn't overwhelming. There wasn't parts where you're like, wait, what did he say? You know? I feel like I did a good job balancing it out. I think that I want to work on, how I speak. You know, I think that when we're in the podcast, I'm like, yeah, man, this is great. And then when I'm editing, I'm like, hey, guys, I just wanted to show you this. I don't know why I feel like it's different, but I feel like there's a difference when you're talking to somebody versus when you're talking to a screen. Mm-hmm. And I need to work on that a little bit. So I'm trying to be mindful of my creating and where I want my creation to be, which is like transition heavy. And I need to set myself up in different... like for instance, if I'm in rounds, or if I'm in the game that has a little less of a chance of those ACOG transitions or transitions that I don't really like necessarily, then I need to do more turns, or I need to be a little more movement heavy in every single round so that I don't get annoyed or frustrated and I don't just sit in one corner for the whole game because I'm just so pissed, or something like that. So just trying to cater to my creator process and like how to make it easier. So I'm not going through footage for 5 hours a night because I can't find a good transition point. Yeah. Things like that.
For me, I spent a lot of time because like I've spent 3 days editing a video, and like last night I stayed up from 10 to 5 in the morning editing this video, and it should be up by now, so if you guys want to go check it out, link in the description hopefully. But like most of the time I was just trying to find assets. For most of the time I was just trying to like find assets for the video that were like good. Like for instance, like there was a deep dive that we did, because if I say deep dive, some of you might know what I'm referring to, that we parodied. But in it, he pulled up some old pictures of me, and I spent like way too long trying to find them because I'm just dumb and I don't know how to navigate Facebook. I say Facebook's for old people, but then it makes me feel old. So I don't know what I'm doing.
Just so many problems with it.
Yeah, exactly. And for instance, last night, what I spent a lot of time doing was trying to find this right violin sound, like with kind of some clickbaity lines from the video, like taken out of context. You're like, what the fuck did they do, kind of thing. And it took me way too long to find the right one, and I ended up basically making my own.
Oh. Okay.
I took a clip from a very dramatic royalty-free song. And by the way, don't be pressured into using like non-royalty free music, because I use some royalty free music for my outro, and it's probably like it's a really good song, and it fits like my channel's vibe perfectly.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I'm gonna use it for every video unless I like find a better one.
Mm-hmm.
But for now, that's it. But yeah, so I took a part of a dramatic trailer, and it had like a rise in it, and that's kind of what I wanted to do. And so I just took that one rise clip, and it wasn't long enough for the montage. And so I stretched it out as far as I could. I increased I decreased the speed and increased the duration.
Mm-hmm.
And it was crazy, like how like well it fit.
Nice.
And so sometimes you gotta like just use your resources and
Mm-hmm.
like make things happen. Like for instance, I could have just like half-assed an intro or an end card for the videos, like saying like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But instead I went into a sketchbook app and I made my own, and I just put it in the video last night.
Nice.
And it's just, I don't think you should be bound to one program, and I don't think you should think that you need someone else to do the work for you, or that you need to get more stuff to do the work, because I literally just used a free sketchbook app.
Mm-hmm.
And not only did I use it to make the thumbnail for the video, which I'm very proud of, but I also used it to make the end card, and it looks borderline professional.
Mm-hmm.
So I think everyone should definitely be aware that you don't need a lot of money. You don't, like, we're using, I think I mentioned this before in a previous podcast.
Yeah, we bring it up pretty much every podcast, but I think it's really important that like no matter at what point you tune in, and any self-help book is going to say the same thing 3, 10, 12, 15 times, like, because you don't understand until you do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, we really want you guys to understand that I don't care if it's on a shitty pixelated video, like, just do it. Just get going. Like, our setup can be cheap if we wanted it to be. And the main reason why I hadn't started this sooner was because I thought I needed all this stuff that I didn't have. And so I was like, oh man, I have to get that stuff before I can do it. And like, that was my excuse. And don't use that as an excuse anymore, because it's a shitty excuse. You don't need it. And we could have done it for way cheaper than we are currently doing it, but at the same time, we're doing it. So you can do it, and you can do it cheaper if you want to. Yeah,
and sometimes it's good to, like, if something's giving you trouble, like what the best part about, like, is like with my video, right? I had a lot of problems. We had to do a full reshoot because a lot of the footage was gone. I got really scared because I thought my camera was cropped improperly, even though it was just the size of the video on Premiere that was the issue, which was terrifying. And also, we would have had to do another reshoot if Brock didn't walk in front of my camera, because it was out of focus the whole time for the, like, a little bit at the beginning, but it wasn't like the meat of the video, so we're fine.
Yeah.
But and so stuff like that, you learn to find alternatives, and you learn to work your way around it. I had some issues with audio and like audio spikes, and so I just went in and I like put it down. Like, there was a time where I was like clapping, right, which I ended up inevitably taking out of the video because it didn't really work anyway. But at the time, I found a way to work around it, and it sounded just fine. Like, it sounded like I was clapping a normal thing. Yeah, but finding ways to work around it and using what you got, it's a good feeling, because you feel like a problem solver.
And like, I know that you ran into some issues where my camera, when you downloaded it onto your computer, it was really pixelated or whatever. And you decided just to go ahead with it. Yeah,
because if I were to redo it, like if I were to put, because whenever I downloaded it, it looks fine when I downloaded it. But when I put it into the software, it's really pixelated. And so I could easily just re-put it into the software at a higher resolution and then call it cool. But I put a lot of work into this, and I would just have to basically restart.
Yeah.
And
because with the three camera setup, what you're doing is you're cropping things and you're moving them into place, and you're changing, this may not fit here, but it fits over here. And so you're moving things around. And so, like, it's not as easy as him just, highlighting one thing, deleting, and then bringing it in, and then it's fine. No, he has to go back, line everything up visually with the audio, crop it, move that aside. I mean, it's a huge process. So, like, don't be afraid to be like, hey, put in your video, like, hey, guys, I'm sorry that that didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, but I hope you enjoy anyways.
Yeah, like for me in the beginning of the video, I have like a 1 appear on screen because it's the first video. And I want to do that for all my videos. It's like a blue number of whichever video it's on.
Yeah. Do you ever think you'll start drawing those?
It's come across my mind. And what I want to do eventually is, if you go on the Brock's channel, you see that his intro consists of like, because he's a gun in his logo, and the video will go through the gun, or like you'll go through the gun into the next part. And I want to start doing that. I think with the number, because I think that'd be cool. I just got to learn it a little bit better, but I think I have a gist on how to do it. Okay. Especially with the sketchbook software I have, I feel like I can actually do it with that too. I tried to do it just because like I thought I was being smart, and because I just have a black screen thing, just because like it's easier than trying to like space it out, and I don't know, it's a whole process for me. So I just went into Photoshop, created a whole black screen, and put it in the video. So if I ever need a black screen, I just do it. And I thought I was being clever because I just picked a really bright blue, or like just a different color blue than that was in the shot. And I thought I could just green screen and it would do it for me. But then I remembered that there's a black screen under it. If I take that black screen away, since the one is green screened, you can't see the one on screen. So it was a little difficult, and it was really late at night. So I was like, you know what? I'll try and do this for a different video. For now, I'll just zoom into the one and it'll transition out. Like I just did a cross zoom.
Cross zoom.
Yeah.
It just goes into the next clip.
That's the thing. Sometimes you have to settle. Like, there's a lot I wanted to do with this video and a lot I wanted to add that I thought was a lot more professional, and just some things that were very ambitious, but come to find out, I couldn't do it. So sometimes you have to settle. But at the end of the day, I'm still really happy with what I made because I made it. And I told my friends in our group chat, I was like, guys, I just pulled an all-nighter editing this video. I don't care what anyone says about it. I love it. It's my baby. Exactly. It's the first video. Like it could be the least funny video on all of YouTube, right? And there's like ISIS shit on YouTube, so this could be the least funny, and I'd be like, "That's mine."
Yeah,
I did. Exactly. That's me.
That's the beauty of it. I know last week we talked about like some green screen effects that you can find very easily.
What's really
YouTube.
cool is that people have whole packages of green screen effects that I've seen in like countless videos. I'm like, I could do that now. Yeah, that's awesome. It's like
so you did use. That was kind of gonna be my question. Is like, you know, after we talked about that, finding very free accessible stuff on YouTube, did you get into any of that on this video?
There are so many green screen effects on my videos.
Yeah, like
there's a dance, like there's a thing where there's like strobe lights and dance stuff, and I used just a green screen effect with that. There's like gunshot things, because I say something like I'm gonna get shot, and I did that, and then I also used a green screen effect for the GTA Wasted thing. And there was a part where like it turned like a different shade of green because like the red pops up and it goes stink, right? And so it didn't pick up with the green screen, so I just cut it out, and you can't tell the difference. Yeah. So I figured, once again, I found an alternative. Yeah. I
ran into that problem too. I did the same thing. I just cut it back a little bit because I'm not sure if it transitions to a different. I don't know. It was a little strange that it did that, but I used that in one of my videos as well. And I get what you're saying. Yeah. It did that weird green tint, yellow.
It was like a yellowish brown tint.
Yeah. Because of the red and green.
Yeah. And then, so there was like a lot that I, like, there was so much. And it was so much fun. I enjoyed it a lot. Actually, another cool thing is I made like a hellfire like thing, and I changed the tint of the video to like red, and I added fire over it, and I added like super dramatic music, like the classic dramatic music that you hear in like a bunch of YouTube videos. And so that, I'm really excited for that, because also I made my own green screen effect. Gotta say that. If you guys have watched So That's So Raven, I have a moment where I do a similar transition with her eye, and I added like green screen effects with the help of Brock, of course, because I don't know what I'm doing. And it turned out surprisingly well. Nice. I was very happy with it, and you almost can't tell that I did it. That's so dope.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I know. When I went up there and helped you out, there's a part where it goes from like this smoky white to the actual picture. Did you have any trouble getting it, or did you do anything different?
It literally just worked out itself.
Oh, like, okay, cool.
I think the only thing I changed is
true, because our environment's kind of white around the outside.
Yeah, exactly.
It could really pair well. That's good.
Yeah. I think the only thing I would have done differently is probably because like it's supposed to come out of the eye again, and that's one thing I didn't really do. So it's a little bit weird, but I don't care.
You didn't want like it. Yeah.
And also,
I thought I talked to you about that. You just select the segment and then copy it and then play it reverse.
Yeah, I did that. And I also played the audio reverse too. I found what I did for the sound effect is I literally just went to an episode of That's So Raven. I clipped out that one part where it like zooms into her eye, and I used that same sound effect.
Nice.
So that was easy.
Easy.
But yeah, once again, it's like doing stuff like that where like you're figuring it out on your own.
Mm-hmm.
And sure, there's probably easier ways to do it.
Yeah.
But the fact that I did it and I didn't use any help and I just figured it out, feels so good.
Yeah, exactly.
Because now I know a way to do it. And like if someone says, "Hey, you can do it this way," I'm like, "Oh, thanks."
Mm-hmm.
But I know how to do it this way.
Yeah.
Too. Like
exactly. You know, I ran into a similar thing where there was a clip in my game and the transition worked really well, but it was in the middle of 2 kills. And so I'd always thought, like, what if I got a kill and I went backwards and then played the clip? You know what I mean? Like, and then like kind of, you know, rewind and then play again.
Yeah.
And I thought it visually looked pretty cool, but the audio there was like a song in it and the beat dropped at a certain point and I kind of wanted it to stick on the beat drop when I kill the person. And so I was like, man, what do I do? And all I did was I took the segment that reversed and I played it backwards. And like, that originally wasn't my idea. I didn't want it to sound like it was... I didn't want the music... I don't even think I had the music at that point at all. And so I wanted the music to kind of just keep going and then it be a visual thing, but it just didn't work out without the music. And like, that's the thing is, once you put it all together, it may not be what you think it's going to be. But like, once you see it and you're like, I had a few transitions that didn't really pan out the way I thought they were going to. And so I tweaked them.
Yeah.
And like, once you learn how to tweak things, you can turn anything into something that's viable or at least you're happy with.
Yeah.
Because like, the worst thing is to get through all that stuff and then you scrap the whole thing because you didn't like one thing about it, but you can really mess with a lot of stuff.
Yeah. And like for me, like tweaking stuff and like finding stuff that works is that like I said, I found the royalty free music that I liked for my outro. But however, right when the beat dropped, the video did cut off, but the build up is kind of louder. But at the same time, if I made it any quieter, you wouldn't hear the rest of the song. Yeah. So what I did was I added like an exponential fade right as because like at the end of the video, I say like something very blunt, like fuck, like because I'm like dying, right? And so what I did was I just I cut out that little segment in between there. I added an exponential fade like at the end and then an exponential fade at the beginning and made it like really like small and short. And it sounds so good. Like it's like build up and then fuck and then bass drop. And then it's like perfect. Yeah. So just doing stuff like that and making stuff work for you and not having like it just magically work is amazing.
I do think it's really important though to find a good community, you know, like there's tons of communities online. I've got at least 10 discords that I follow, where if I have a question, I'm sure I could ask and somebody would know. I think it's important to have somebody that's either where you are or somewhere a little bit ahead of you, because you can get really discouraged. And just having one person where you can ask a few questions, that's what we're here for. We can answer any questions you guys have, by the way. I'm not saying go find your help somewhere else, because that's literally what we're here for. But I'm saying it can help to have somebody there that knows a little bit more than you or as much as you, because like just bouncing off those ideas, like, oh, you know, that didn't work, but let's try it this way. Because when you're staring at the puzzle and you're right next to it, you don't see the pieces sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, you need to take a step back or have fresh eyes come in, take a look, and then they'll figure it out quicker. Collaboration is important in this industry because the more you can keep it fresh and the more eyes you can bring into your project, the better. And I think that that's really important, is like, try to develop a community with your creator, like with your creation. And I think that once you start branching out and you start meeting new people and you start thinking about things in a little bit different light, things become a lot more interesting too. Like watching a new artist that I'm falling in love with, dude, he just he thinks about things and he does things that are just, it really brings in a new light of how do you want to communicate with your audience? How do you want to run your business? Because this is what it is. We're signing up to be content creators. We're not signing up to be, anything short of a business.
Yeah.
A self-run, self-taught business.
Yeah, because as much as this started out for me as like kind of a hobby that I did while I had a job, now it's like my job. Mm-hmm. Like I treat it like it's my job.
Yep.
And even though I'm not really making money off of it yet, I'm going to make sure, like my goal is that by like in at least 2 years, I'm making enough money off of YouTube to be stable.
Yeah.
Like that's my goal.
That's a fair goal. Yeah. I'm right there with you. I get
that's another thing. Like making goals, that helps so much. Like I have a thing for me, like in 3 years, I'm going to have over 1 million subscribers. I'm going to have merch. And I'm going to have at least one fan page of someone that like is just like, look how cool Tate is.
Yeah.
Like that's what I want. And those are my 3 goals. And if they happen, they happen. If they don't, they don't. Like those are stuff that's more out of my control. But I'm going to make sure I'm going to do all to my best ability that it happens. So I'm going to be promoting my content. I'm going to be whatever. If I can make it before that time, amazing.
Perfect. Great. Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah. So just small goals like that and bigger goals like I kind of said. Those are going to kind of keep you in check, especially with motivation and stuff that we mentioned before. Yeah. So,
you are your own boss.
Yeah.
And, like, as much as we'd love to be, like, I'll get to it whenever or whatever. Yeah. I mean, for me, it comes natural. Like, I wake up every day and I'm like, what can I do today? Or how can I create something today? I do have to say that, like, today, this morning, I felt like, maybe we can postpone the podcast. But, we're getting to the point where I'm going to be going back to work next week. And so there is no delay anymore. Like I'm going to have to juggle a job and this.
Yeah.
And so like I cannot push anything behind. And like we're probably going to have to start recording this podcast at night, which means that I'm going to have to look into some lighting fixtures and stuff like that, or maybe get new bulbs for the lights in here.
Like a circle light.
I just think that I just think that we'll have to look into that and see how it works.
We definitely need more.
Yeah. And so we'll definitely have to look into that and see how it works, and if that's a viable option, great. If we need something else, we're gonna have to keep that in mind, because we're not stopping regardless of the hurdles we run into, but we have to acknowledge the hurdles and prepare for them.
Call back to the first episode. It's all about flexibility and the ability to adapt. Yeah, that's what's going to keep you afloat, and the YouTube is business.
So you stayed up. You pulled an all-nighter.
I pulled an all-nighter. It's fun. I gotta say.
Yeah. How did you stay focused, or was it easy?
I stayed focused just for the pure fact that I was so into the video. And like how much I wanted to finish it and get it done. Because for one, I had a due date for myself, right? I posted on my Instagram saying May 13th. I set it for like a solid 2 months straight, and I got around to May 13th and I was like, I haven't even finished the video yet. And so I like really got down to brass tacks and I started doing it.
Nice.
And there was a time where I looked, I'm like, okay, it's 2 a.m. I'm almost done with the video. I mean, it's not ideal, but I'll be fine. And then the next time I looked up, I was like, oh, it's 4 a.m. Okay. And I still have like a lot I want to do. Yep. So it was definitely interesting and difficult, but the video was exported. As of recording, I still have to upload it, but I just finished the thumbnail, and all I need to do is put a description and a title, and it's going up. And so I'm very excited.
Nice.
It turned out a lot better than I expected.
Nice.
And also, I know we kind of addressed this a lot during this podcast about like working with what you got, but making things look cheap almost adds to the charm, in my opinion. Like so what we're parodying, right? They have very grade A like neon sign like name graphics, tags for people and graphics. So I just was like, how can I do this? Oh, I'll just use Comic Sans, because I think Comic Sans is funny and it looks really cheap and dumb, but that's kind of like the point. And nothing looks like official. And I think the joke is that we're on a very tight budget, and so if we tried really hard to make it look like the show that we're parodying, I don't know, it would almost come off as cheaper. Yeah. So this adds a character. This adds like soul to it. Yeah. That you can only find on my channel, and that's what I like about it.
Yeah. So, it's definitely important to know your limitations, be okay with that.
Yeah.
The main thing is you're not going to create a Marvel movie on a $10 budget, but you can have some elements from the Marvel movie, or give somebody the impression of a Marvel movie, and inflict your own style on it. And like, you know, the main thing is to get started, to push the limits of what you can do, and I think that consumption of YouTube is as important as creating YouTube. So I'm constantly watching people, because guess what? They've done it longer than you. They know more than you.
Yeah.
Like, come to grips with that. Everybody that's doing it currently knows way more than you. And so, like, you may not be able to have an interview with them, but they're literally pouring their heart and soul on YouTube every day they upload. Yeah. And so, like, pay attention. Go listen to what they have to say, because chances are most people are getting asked questions in their comments every day. Oh, hey, how'd you do that? What'd you do? What are you using? What kind of sensitivity do you have? What kind of camera do you use? What kind of blah, 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 blah. And so, like, you know, go read a few comments. Go see how they interact with their fans. Because, like, that may be wrong, and you may be like, I don't like the way this person acts. That's where you can be better. Yeah. And that's where you can see how you like something. Like, I always say in my videos, I fucking love you. Because I do. And I heard it from another YouTuber, and I was like, man, that made me feel good. Yeah. And I want to make people feel that way. So I say it. And it's not to rip off somebody else. It's because I enjoyed the way that made me feel when I watched the video. And I want to make sure people know that I love you. Yeah. I love you guys checking my stuff out. I love you guys commenting, liking, subscribing, because everybody that watches my videos, even though it's only 12, 15 people, I love everybody that does. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that that's important, is to consume as much as you're putting, because you can learn a lot from everybody. Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, I see some of the content creators that do more commentary videos, and that's where I inspire a lot of my editing from, and like my style of comedy. And I before I wanted to blend animation and vlogging, but now I'm gonna probably blend more of that like meme humor commentary channel style of humor with vlogging, because I feel like some vlog channels are very I don't want to say superficial, but like it just doesn't feel like that's who they are. Yeah. And I want my content all the way from my channel banner to my editing to the video itself. I want it all to say, oh, that's Tate. You know, I want it to have my personality just like right into it. Yeah. And so you got to find yourself in your content. And if you look at a video and you're like, if that's not me, then don't upload it. Yeah. Like, make sure it's you, and don't make sure you're making content for yourself, and make sure you make content that represents yourself. Yeah, exactly. Because anyone who stumbles upon your video that has no idea who you are, this is this is their impression of you. Yeah. So every single video is like making a good first impression. And on the flip side of that, there's people that are gonna stumble across your content who know you. Yeah. And if you're not being genuine, they're gonna say something. Yeah, they're gonna be like, that's not who you are. Yeah, like, why are you playing this up? And then the people that do like you for who you are being will see you as a phony. And so just like, be true to yourself. Exactly. The internet knows everything. Yeah. And like, the minute you stop being genuine to yourself, like, you're gonna run into a whole heap of problems. Yeah. And I mean, you can take your content and be inspired by someone else. Yeah. Like, that's fine. Like, a lot of the stuff I do, like I said, it's inspired by commentary channels, and it's inspired by like vlogging channels. A lot of the ideas I have are kind of variations of stuff I've seen before. Yep. Like, for instance, on Pizza Van, we have some ideas that are kind of based off of Smosh's old food battle videos. But we're going to do it in a different way with different objects, and we're going to make it our own. It's not going to be scripted exactly like the other videos. Yeah, exactly. And we're not gonna take somebody else's channel and go copy paste. Yeah, exactly. And put it under our name. Yeah. And that's really a big thing for me, is like, you know, when I say take things from other people, that's basically how we live our lives regardless. There's no real original ideas at this point. Right now. Exactly. But don't copy somebody else. Just take parts that you like, be aware of what you like, because you're not the only one that likes that stuff. Yeah, exactly. And so you can play to your audience. There's a niche market everywhere. but you have to be true. And if you're gonna tell people, hey, I cater to this small niche market, they're gonna subscribe to you because of that, and like you need to produce that. And that's really the big thing for me is like be aware that when you make promises to people to give them what they want, they are gonna want that at all times. And like, so make sure that you are being authentic to yourself, but don't be afraid to keep your eyes, ears, and just all your senses open to what's out there. Because everyone's doing it, and they're doing it better than you.
Absolutely.
And that's the fact. That's why there's 10 million subscribers on some people's channel, and there's 2 on others. I have like 30 something subscribers, and like I honestly believe that anybody that has more than that, or a lot of people that have less than that, they know more than I do. And I'm gonna learn from everybody I can, because that's the way you grow. And like, you can take inspiration from anybody. I mean, I'm loving the artist I've been watching, and I know that his content is nothing like what I'm producing, but he's got a lot of stuff that I'm like, damn, he does that well. Oh, damn, he is using every bit of his talents in one video. I mean, that's impressive. And I want to be like that. Sure. I want everyone to know, oh, Brock's good at this, this, and this. And like, I see that every video. I'm down with that.
Absolutely.
And I think that the main thing is that you've always said is you can't add to something that you haven't gotten right the first time. And so I think it's important to lay that good ground. Like, I want my audio and my video to be good. And then once I do that, once I feel more comfortable with that, I'm going to start building on that a little more. Like, what special effects can I add? What talking floating head can I throw in there? But I would really feel comfortable if my audio and video were at a solid state. Where I don't have to spend 2 hours fixing the audio on this one clip. Instead, I can, throw in a new animated thing or throw in this, because the less time I have to worry about all this other stuff, the better the better quality I can throw into other things.
It's interesting. One of my friends told me, they're like regarding YouTube and content creation in general, they said that when it comes to being a viewer on YouTube, everyone wants the same thing, but they don't want the things that they've seen before. Like, and I understand that completely. Like, whenever I watch a YouTuber that I really like and they have like a group of friends that they record with, I expect those group of friends to be similar, or like to have similar content. And whenever their content's not similar, I'm disappointed and I don't watch the YouTuber anymore. So I totally understand that. Like, Mr. Beast and David Dobrik are the same but different, right? And PewDiePie and some other YouTuber, I don't know, he's like the most subscribed, so it's hard to compare. But are the same but different. So that's literally just the climate of YouTube, is everyone wants the same but different, but not too different. And so if you take inspiration from someone, who cares? Like, but if you full on copy them, that's a different story. And
that's where you will run into issues later on. And I think that it's important to be true to yourself and just pay attention to what people enjoy. If you're gonna be in the business of giving people what they want, then you got to start paying attention to what they want, or like what they like. And don't be afraid to try new things, because it may not be what's out there yet, but they may enjoy it. Experiment, see what's visually pleasing, because it's important. So Tate just checked his camera and it wasn't recording, and I have to say, when I was editing the last podcast, it's become a lot less of like directing our attention at different cameras, but I do like that setup. I think that it can help a lot with transition, so I don't want to stop it. But I did realize that it became almost like, I kind of don't want to add this in there, but I feel like I haven't transitioned to a single person in a while. So like, I mean, I'm not afraid to just like scrap something if I don't think that it looks good, but I can see the benefit of having all 3 cameras. But as of lately, we've kind of transitioned from looking at our individual cameras to just like focusing on the, and that goes with, what are we talking about? we're talking about how we can help you. We're not talking about how I feel about something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that that's the main thing is, like, pay attention to where's your attention going? Like, this is our audience camera. We're talking to the audience as a group. Yeah. And, like, our individual cameras are us speaking to you about our opinion or, like, something very specific to us. And I think that that's important is, like, have a flow. Set a standard and be consistent. Yeah, because, like, we have 2 dogs running around here, and sometimes if they're jumping on and off the couch, it's better if I just focus on one camera.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I want to make sure that when you're watching our podcast, you're not like, oh, I wonder what Tate was doing right there. You were talking about Tate, but it wasn't focusing on him or anything like that. So I think that, when you're watching it, don't be afraid to take notes. Don't be afraid to admit when something's wrong, when something needs to be reworked, when something needs to be reshot, when something needs to be scrapped completely. Yeah. Like, who cares? You wasted all that time on it. Yeah. Get over it. Be flexible. Like, you'll get over it.
Mm-hmm. Like for me on my recent video, I had a whole bit where I did it the hard way. I know I could have done an easier way because you showed me how to do it. Mm-hmm. But so I said something about buttermilk ranch, and it was like a punchline to a joke, and it was a really bad joke. So I wanted to zoom in on my face and have 2 bottles of ranch on both sides of me. Mm-hmm. And when I did that, and it just, like, I did it, and I thought it was funny at the time, but then I watched throughout the whole video. I was like, this clip really doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't work with the video. And so I scrapped it, and I spent like a good 2 hours on that one joke. And
that one ranch joke.
That one ranch joke. And so it just didn't really end up working out for me. So, and it kind of sucked. I feel like I wasted time. I could have just ended up cutting it out in general. But whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes shit happens. I don't know.
You can give somebody a half-ass project, or you can give them a fully something you're proud of.
Also, what I realized is that I kept on thinking to myself, like, well, no, they like, they'll be missing that. But like, if I cut that out of the video, and I think that's cool, but I'm like, if the audience doesn't know they're missing that, so it doesn't really matter. So I ended up cutting, like, it was a 40-minute video. I cut it down to 12 minutes with still all the like questions and stuff that we had. And the meat of the video, it's just, there's a lot more jokes and a lot less serious stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, because I realized that my channel's for jokes. Mm-hmm. Like, it's for, like, interesting stuff. So, me going on a rant about, like, the people in the farming community isn't as interesting as me making a Pornhub joke. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I want to make sure that...
The people want porn.
The people want porn, and I understand that now. Right? Yeah. My friends heard the Pornhub intro while I was editing my video, and they all got surprisingly excited. It scared me. But so yeah, like, and with this especially with your first video, because I've made videos before, Pizza Van, of course, but this is the first video on my new channel. And what I want to happen is I want this to set the standard for my content. Yeah. So
that's a good point.
Yeah, like, this is going to be, I want this to entail the rest. I mean, maybe in the future I'm going to definitely change some stuff, of course, because I'm going to increase the budget, and I'm going to increase the quality. Yeah. But however, right now, this is it. This is what I want from every video.
I was thinking maybe your camera shut off because Dad probably wanted to know what we wanted for dinner.
Probably.
He probably called or something. Because that's the only reason why I could think that it would shut off.
Yeah, because it was on it said 41 minutes, and then now it says 5. Like 5 minutes left. So it did record a chunk. Yeah. I started recording, it said 40, but now it says 5.
Yeah, maybe.
So my camera's probably
interesting.
Off by now.
Yeah.
Like, because
and that's the thing is, like, we're using our phones, and it is a little bit of a burden. So, like, when we do increase budgeting and stuff, of course we would love to have cameras here instead of
like legit
phones.
Cameras.
Because of a lot of scenarios, like my iPhone camera, I can't just pull, and I'm sure there's a way to do this, but I couldn't personally find a way to do this, but I can't pull the video off my phone. I have to upload it to YouTube, go onto my computer, and download it from YouTube, and that is a pain in the ass. Yeah. And, like, I would love to just have a camera where I plug in the memory card and pull it off, because that takes seconds versus an hour and a half waiting for this to upload to YouTube, all while bringing down the connection of our Wi-Fi just so I can get a video off my phone. Like, that's ridiculous to me. But that's what I have to do right now. And I'm okay with doing that. Like, it's not a big deal. You could play with it. Don't be afraid to wait to upgrade. Set yourself those milestones like we talked about last time, where, you know, once you hit 50 subscribers, because you're going to get frustrated that your picture quality is not great. And, you know, tell the people, hey, you know, I was watching this, I was putting this together, and man, I wish I had a better camera, but I want to hit 50 subscribers before I upgrade my camera. Don't be afraid to say it. People love to help you hit goals. That's why on TikTok, it's the most popular damn thing out there, is to go, hey, how many likes do I have to get on this for me to get a car? Or for blah, blah, blah. And
for me to go to prom.
Yeah, or whatever it was. You know, people help you because they want to see you succeed. And like, there's going to be 100 people that want to see you fail, but there's going to be 200 people that want to see you succeed. Yeah.
And then what's funny, like, you have to, like, talking about why, like, people wanting you to fail. After we uploaded the second Pizza Fan video, we got 2 dislikes. And I think it was the humor, because the humor was a lot more edgy than the first video. Yeah. Because I think we made, like, a prostitute joke or something like that. Like, because I came out of the bathroom and I was, like, in my douchebag outfit. And Drew came out after me. And people were like, what are you doing in there? And I was like, oh, he pays good money or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then we also made some other jokes. And people were like, is this PG? Like, is this what you want to put out? And that was the video where we got 2 dislikes. And I got to say, it kind of hurt.
That's just the beginning, man.
That's just the beginning.
Go look at how many dislikes David Dobrik gets on his
like 100,000. Yeah. It's insane.
Even his best videos, like, it's just...
And that's what I've come to terms with. I've definitely, since then, I've been like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I remember one dude disliked the first video just to spite me, because he didn't like me.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. Like, dope. And he's like, and he told all of his friends all of the friends at school, he was like, guys, I dislike Tate's video. Like, okay. Yeah. Like, dope. Like, you watched it. Like,
awesome. Exactly. And like I said a couple podcasts ago, like, negativity is positivity, because it pushes your content. Like, that dislike is activity on your video. And
then someone comments, this video sucks, and someone's like, no, it doesn't, I liked it. And that person's like, no, it did suck. And all those comments that are raining in, that's boosting the algorithm. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, sweet, you guys can keep talking. Yeah, okay. It's dope. So
and I'm not saying go out there and instigate arguments or anything, but you know, ask questions, get a conversation started. Yeah. Or like, you know, when you finish something that you've never tried before, ask them about it. You know, people want to be engaged. You know what I mean? Like, I get excited to do something cool because I get to run upstairs and ask Tate, like, hey, check this out. Like, what do you think? Yeah. And dope. Like, same with me, you have at your disposal an entire universe to do that. Ask them. You know, like, I haven't been getting the best responses on it, but I feel good because I watch it and I hear myself ask that question. I'm like, yeah, man, tell me how you feel. Yeah. I'm excited to hear what people have to say, even if it may not work out, but I'm excited to know.
There have definitely been times where he showed me something and I've shown him something, and the person that we're showing it to is like we think it's good, and we're like, oh, like, check this out, I think it's good. Yeah. And then they're like, I don't know. Like, it doesn't really...
Right over the head or something.
Yeah, right over the head, or like, and in that case, I would honestly, if like one person says I don't get it or it doesn't look good, I'll be like, fuck it, all right, fine,
yeah. Like, I think a big thing too in like gaming content, especially, is like if I want to be a multifaceted gaming channel where I'm playing any game, I need to start realizing that a lot of times when people watch my video, they've never seen that game before. Yeah. And so, like, how can I slow down the visual process? Because I know what's happening because I played the game. First off, they're my clips. Yeah. Second off, I know what's happening in the game. Yeah. And so, like, I'll show you something and you're like, wait, what happened? Yeah. Or, like, I don't know what's going on. And it's like, oh, how can I slow it down or tweak it? Yeah. To where, or maybe even, like, there's so many things at your disposal on these editor, you know, things. You could boost the color so that, you know, it brings your attention to something, you know, and then That way the transition's smoother because they're looking at that area. Yeah. I mean, there's so much stuff.
I learned how to blur people's faces out. I didn't have to use it. I learned how
like
to
90 Day Fiance blur?
Fuck, terrible blur. Terrible blur. Yeah. But no, like, I learned how to track shit in Premiere. And I learned, like, because I saw a video on how to do it. You just look up, like, also, if you want to find an effect, you just type in the thing in like the library search, and it'll like you click effects, and like I was like, how do I tint the video? And I was like, I just typed in tint, and it's like, oh, here's tint.
Yeah, tint's right here. Yeah.
What? Like it helped so much. I don't have to go on YouTube tutorials anymore. Like it's just there. I looked up blur and it said Gaussian blur, and I was like, oh, dope. So because I almost had to blur someone's face out of a video, but then they said it was okay if I use them, so it's fine. Nice. So, but yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah. I think that. Like it's all at your disposal, and like they want, like Adobe and all these other programs, they want people to recommend their stuff, so they make it usable. Yeah. And like I don't think that Adobe is extremely user friendly, and so like I usually recommend people to try like Filmora and stuff like that when they're first starting out because it is a lot simpler. It's like a game. But with that, you don't get as many effects as I can get on Adobe. Like, I've watched so many videos where people do superhero landings, and you know they take a picture of their car and they can show that it's set on fire and it looks like it's deteriorating. Yeah. Like, I don't know if you can do that on Filmora, but I know for a fact I can do it on Adobe. And like, After Effects and stuff like that. Yeah, and I feel like there's a lot more at your disposal, but you are paying a higher premium. Yeah. So. I mean, there's ways to do it. If you don't feel comfortable in your technical abilities, or if you don't want to sit there through videos and watch, then don't use Adobe. There's a million softwares out there. Yeah. And read the reviews. And, you know, if somebody's like, hey, this is great, there's not a whole lot you can do, but it's great for starting out, then you know you're probably in the right direction if that's what you're looking for. But there's the whole wide world internet out there. You can find something that'll work for you. And if you need tutorials and stuff, ask, because I'd love to help. Yeah, absolutely. Like I'm biting at the bit to help people because that's my favorite thing to do. And I have all this knowledge that I want to share. And like, I don't feel comfortable going through and making videos and stuff to do that because I already spend so much time editing. But I'd love to talk you through some stuff. Yeah. And I'll help you, you know, with what I can. So I think that in the future, once we get a little more mainstream and it becomes a little bit more of an easier process to create videos and release them, then yeah, I'd love to maybe upload some how-to tutorials. But don't be afraid to start now because we're here to help you. Yeah, absolutely. Send us comments, ask questions, whatever you'd like to do. We're here for you. Use us as much as you can because we're offering until we don't offer, and then you're in trouble. So yeah, I mean, we're here to help you. If you guys want to hear more about help, you guys can like and subscribe and comment because we'll answer those comments. You know what they say? What do they say? Hit that bell, baby. Hit that bell. But yeah, so yeah, please be sure to go check out future podcasts. Our links to our socials are in the description below. Brock, where can they find you? They can find me on YouTube, Twitter, Snapchat, Twitch, TikTok, everything. I'm everywhere. Instagram. Yeah. If it's somewhere you can post, Vimeo, Reddit, I'm there. Awesome. So you can search me, SweatyBrock. No, nothing in the middle of it. No spaces. Just SweatyBrock, all one word. Where can they find you? Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok at Tate.Kapitza. Tate.Kapitza on Snapchat, Instagram, and TikTok, and Tate_Kapitza on Twitter. Yeah, please be sure to go check out the Pizza Van channel and the Tate.Kapitza channel, and be sure to go check out Brock's channel. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Adios. Absolutely.